All right, so I've had this Maxim Fitness SX2 for 3 months. How has it held up? Do I still feel like this is a solid option for the home gym? Well, stick around to find out. Hope you guys enjoy. All right, Fit Fam. So today we're going to give a 3-month update of how this SX2 has been incorporated in my training and my testing, and then I'll give you my honest thoughts at the end. If this is a right fit for people out there wanting to build their home gyms with these all-in-one racks, with this Smith machine, there's also obviously other things they sell as well we can also talk about. If you do end up buying this, or you know someone who buys it, it's free to you. My link with Luke's Garage Gym attached, I'll have it in the description. It's on my website, lukesgaragegym.com. It's pinned in the comment. You just click it and then you buy. I get a small commission, no charge to you, to help support a creator, creating more content, to make sure that you are making the right decisions in investing in your health at home, baby. All right, 3-month updated review of the infamous Maxim SX2. So Maxim Fitness, you know, they don't have a lot of buzz in the community like they should. And I was honored that Bob from Maxim has been working with me and sending me some of his products to showcase for you guys out there, because there are so many options to choose from in the all-in-one rack game with the Smith machine. And it's important to know your options and what you're investing in. First of all, let's talk about, in these 3 months, what have I really utilized the most and what have I liked? What are some things that, you know, I feel like aren't my favorite? And then my final thoughts. I think really we have to first start talking about is these articulating arms. So these are patented through Maxim Fitness, are these articulating arms, which you can tell have a very nice height to it. I'm 6 foot and I really have enjoyed how high up and tall these get, because I feel like I can get a full stretch, full range of motion if I were to pull up a bench here and utilize, you know, I've used my Kensui Fitness handles, my Swissies here. You know, I've used just my RipFit handles to do 2-arm pulling movements, which have been excellent. And these are high enough and tall enough with these arms so I can get a full stretch at 6 foot and sitting on a bench, which is huge. And I've really just, God, man, these are so seamless in adjusting back and forth. They are just constructed well, and they're just clean and aesthetic and just so, yeah, you heard me, versatile. And the functionality, guys, of these. Honestly, I think the main thing what I've really noticed and I've tested using this is just I really like that I don't have to worry about where I'm at, like training. Like if I want to go grab the piece, like the cable, and then grab a cable attachment and go over there, it moves with you. I love these articulating arms. I think every single rack in the home gym game are going to have these. If they don't already, because they make so much sense. You want as much versatility and functionality at home, and these give the full free range of motion. So wherever you're going, it moves with you, so you're not really in a fixed spot, because everyone's gyms and spots are different. And you know what's nice too? You have multiple people using these, which I think is a huge win. So honestly, guys, these have been really a nice addition. And I know a lot of worries about these too is, you know, are these super heavy? Honestly, these are pretty easy to move up and down throughout the rack here. Pretty seamless and easy that you can move these up and down your rack. And I think what I really like too is just there's so much that you can get out of these. As someone who, you guys will have to let me know in the comments, as me personally, as someone who works out at home, I am always wanting to gravitate more towards cable movements. And I want to have a cable system that is highly functional, versatile, and good value. And when you have all these different pivot points to go in all the different directions, especially if you wanted to do a chest fly and you're wanting to go super far out, you have an insane stretch, mind-muscle connection with the different pivot points of this. And I think that's just something that this rack really does shine, is those adjustments. Now, I think one thing a lot of people will probably ask is like, Luke, well, you know, the competition has the adjustments here that go, you know, up and down, not just, you know, I would say side to side, whereas the other ones also have adjustment pinpoints here. So Maxim actually just announced on their Instagram, we'll plug it here, their new articulating arms that will be incorporated into other systems. But here's the thing too, if you want to get this rack, you don't want to wait around for those to come out. He said he's going to offer them as an upgrade. So if you want to get those, you can add it to your system, which is, here's the thing. I love brands who have a catalog of other parts of racks that people buy. Like say they buy this, they really like this, and then he comes out with something new to a rack. He offers it separately to add to your old systems, because customers like to upgrade and add things to their rack over time, because, you know, it's cool to try new things. I like that you're able to do that, and he's going to do that with his new system, because it looks like there's a pulley that makes it 1-to-1 and then 2-to-1 in that. So you guys have to let me know what you think of that. Obviously, a huge point of testing and really, you know, enjoying is all the different movements, how smooth the consistent feel of the tension is throughout the movement. I still use silicone spray throughout all of this. You know, obviously it's like a commercial grade piece of equipment, especially in my environment in the garage. I want to make sure there's no rust, so I have good maintenance of the machine to continue to have the consistent smooth feel. But I think something that I wanted to note for you guys about this is a lot of people get worried about, Luke, these arms are way too freaking long, dude. How am I supposed to do a row? Luke, these arms are too freaking long. How am I supposed to do a curl? Because you don't have any issue with if you were to put these here and put these here, pull up a bench and do your pulling movements. But you got to think about a curl. If I were to, let's say if I wanted to drop this all the way down, drop to the bottom, and you wanted to do a curl, you know, the access point's here, and it's just very unnatural movement. So that is where I'm going to show you, we got some clips here of how Bob from MAXUM and his company always finding ways to make sure you have no issues with all the different exercises. He has this pulley that will then attach to the 5/8 holes. So then you would put the pulley here, and then you would just pin it in here, and then you would just use this cable, and then you would drop this down and attach it here, so that you can hook up your cable attachments to do curls, to do your more low pulling movements, because I get it. Those arms are long. You don't want that. Doing a curl with them all the way out there, it's so awkward, it's unnatural. So he thought of that. He created that with the arms he has here. Now with his new arms, being able to go up and down, I think that wouldn't be an issue, because you can just drop it low. You can do a curl, but with the ones he has here, he came up with this pulley idea, which I think is very, very smart and just a very innovative idea, which I personally think, just thinking of this alone shows that he's a very innovative person who's coming up with good ideas for good products, which is not a lot of people come up with that. So let me know what you think of that idea, so you have no issues with curls and doing rows or low movements. Like say you wanted to hook this up and grab like an ankle cuff and do like a hip abductor, or standing like leg curl. No issue, because you just utilize the cable at the top, hook up this pulley to the 5/8 holes here, and you're ready to go, which I think testing and using, very cool. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is this Smith machine. Now, I'm an honest guy, and I will tell you that I wish I was able to do a whole lot with this Smith machine. Why I have not, it's just due to injury. I really haven't been able to do a whole lot with it that I prefer to, because I really enjoy a Smith machine for, you know, like a little bit of leg movement, like a lunge or maybe a basic squat. Mainly what I've done with utilizing this Smith machine lately, I got in here and I was doing some calf raises. Let me tell you why this Smith machine is freaking smooth. So if you guys don't know, this runs as counterbalanced. So the bar weighs nothing, and you can just hear that. I've had Smith machines that grind and just loud, and I feel like the manufacturing and build quality engineering is complete junk. This is freaking smooth, dude. Now the bar isn't like the craziest, nicest in regards to Smith bar that I've tried and used. You know, there's a little bit of knurl on both sides here. There is a little bit of chip of paint that fell off. I think that came off during building of this, which it's not the end of the world. You get a little bit of paint spray. That's not the biggest deal cosmetic wise, But again, we'll talk about customer service and shipping, all that in a little bit. But the bar is pretty nice. The system is smooth. You know, it's been nice picking up my calf block here. So shout out to U-Cups. I got, you've been using this U-Cups U4C calf block and utilizing it inside of this to do my calf raises to get a deep stretch. You get that deficit at the bottom. And I think it's been nice just to do that. Now, when I do my 6-month review, I'll try to make sure I have a better feedback after more rehab of more like squatting movements. More, I know the leg press attachment, a lot of people ask. I just don't have the full range of motion to do that. But what I've been using it for, it's felt really good. And anyone out there, I think we all know a lot of the issues with these Smith machines is depth. You know, how low this can get. This is the only Smith machine that I've personally used. Like okay, let me say this. In an all-in-one rack with the Smith machine, this is the only one I've used that, this is the lowest I've noticed any of these have gotten, to where you're able to get pretty much, most people can hop down here and do a hip thrust, because a lot of people love hip thrust assisted. And this goes extremely low to the ground. We'll drop this to where I can even, let's take this off. This is the lowest, so those aren't even hooked. This is the lowest it can get, which in most Smith machines, it stops about right here, and you can't get underneath that to do a hip thrust. This goes pretty dang low to the ground, dude, to where most people can get underneath here and do a hip thrust. You could shimmy something up to, worst case, maybe like a pad to be able to do it, but that's one thing that this stands out to others in the competition is he's got a lot of different focal points here to latch this on, from the very bottom all the way up to the top here, which I've seen some people do. Is there's 2 screws here that you can hook this up to so you're not hitting your head, even if you just went right here on the last one. Still pretty close, not hitting my head, but not much. There's just a lot of adjustments. Everyone's body types are different. Everyone has different needs and wants in the Smith machine, and this one, out of any ones I've tested, gives you the most functionality in your main lifts. All right, so we talked about the testing of the cable system, testing of the Smith machine. Now, a lot of the attachments, you know, mainly, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I haven't used as much as I've wanted, because to be completely frank and honest with you, I've really enjoyed some of my favorite exercises. I've mentioned this a couple times in this video, is just putting these together, incorporating 2 handles and doing pulley movements at the top, or even putting these together and then putting an attachment to do some pulling movements, or doing a lot of push down movements, a lot of curls. It's been like my main focus, so I really haven't had to use those attachments. Now, that's actually a good thing that I just said that. It shows that there's unlimited versatility and functionality in the machine, because it doesn't stop there. You don't have to have the attachments, which is nice, so you don't have to go get all these other brands attachments. He has so many different options. Grab for you guys, which I got it hooked up here on the wall here. This one's pretty cool. So this is the one, if you guys are wanting to hook this up to the 5/8 holes, you would do is you hook this up and you would just pin it on each side, and then you would utilize this pad. If you wanted to go super, super heavy on your pulley movements, you know, I haven't hooked it up because when I just use the 2 handles, put like 120 pounds and it feels really good, and I'm not really going anywhere. But this will be nice if you wanted to do your, you know, high pull movements. It's an added feature, and it's pretty easy to do. All I did was, you know, when I'm not using it, I'll just go over here and I'll just hook this on my wall, which those hooks I got on Amazon, there's bike hooks. It's drilled into the stud and it stays up there. I've used that a little bit. You know, he has another option for a longer one. If you wanted to hook that up right here to 5/8 holes, if you wanted to do like a lat pull down from one side. There's a couple other bars. One I did use, the straight bar, the neural bar that connects to both of the pulleys. If you wanted to do like a cable, like bench press, which feels pretty good. Also, I have another one. It's like a curl bar. You know, it's got the grooves, the swivel. You know what I'm saying? The waves are on the bar. You know what I'm saying? So you got different focal points of doing that. I haven't really used that, but I think that's a good thing, guys. He offers so many attachments. You're never gonna get bored. There's so much you can do with this. There's so much. So in regards to functionality and versatility, dude, home run. You got this piece down here, got your row piece down here, which I personally use where I get this, I drop this to about halfway, I get my pulley set up right down here, get the wheel set up, kind of just show what I did. I would hook this up, I would pin it, I would attach it here, I'd put a row attachment right here, and I would do a row. But you're thinking, Luke, what are you doing, bro? That's 2-to-1. Y'all, that's a 220-pound stack. That's a big stack. It's got 2 freaking long weight horns, so not really too concerned. All right, before we do my final main takes of when I review what I look for, just the little things that I felt like are just, honestly, they're minor things. And what's kind of funny is the one that I thought was the biggest, and the thing that obviously he's already figured out, he was hinting at it, just wasn't knowing when, was obviously incorporating the arms where you can get up and down right here. So you already get the side to side swivel and go up and down. But dude, if you get this rack and when he comes out with those arms, you can just buy them and upgrade them. You know, I'm not sure when they're going to be ready, but it's nice to know that those are available. I mean, still just the swivel back to forth pretty much does everything you need. And then utilizing that pulley at the bottom helps you with those curls. So you're not this curls or those movements where this arm is too long and awkward to do that motion. One thing too, with any pulley system is there's this rubber ball here. It always ends up getting stuck in the system. And then I have like tension issues, and then just like overall, it's just, you know, wear and tear over time. What I ended up doing, guys, is just getting a zip tie. I zip tie these and I get it real tight. Holds about, I think, 100-pound zip tie is what I got on both sides, and these aren't going anywhere. I put a little bit of electrical tape. I've had a lot of these do this. You know, I like the ones where like everything is like embedded into this. So little rubber stopper piece isn't there, because it happens a lot. It gets, if I spray this down, it gets kind of like, you get moisture and it starts to slide. So that's just a quick fix, not the end of the world. At the bottom too, I know he talked about, he was offering this, is the pulley wheel at the bottom. There's a cover at the bottom, because when you drop this all the way down, it's the very, very bottom. It does just touch the pulley wheel down there. So that's just one thing. I know he mentioned that he was already working on fixing that. Just to add protection to the pulley wheel down there. If you're putting this at the very bottom, it covers it. Which, you know, like he was saying, he was already doing, which is good. Those are just minor things. Obviously a little bit of a chip here on the bar, but minor cosmetic. At the end of the day though, listen, let's wrap this up with my 5 things. All right, baby. So number 1 is, in a 3-month testing phase, is this piece of equipment versatile? Yeah, I would think so. You can do anything with this. You can do any movement for any part of your body with this, doing the cable system. Just that. But the Smith machine is very smooth. You got a lot of different focal points here, so you have a lot of different adjustments for body types, range of motion, and then you have so many attachments to get as much of the rack as you want. It might take you a year to use everything because there's so much to offer. So yeah, is it versatile? Yes. The next thing, is this safe to train with at home? Is there safety issues with this? Personally, I have not. The only thing that's happened to me, the cable system right here where it, you know, connects into this, I did not, it wasn't all the way tightened. So when I was doing a push down, the cable literally flew off. Thank God I was okay. It was not the company's fault. It was me, because I did not get an Allen wrench and tighten this. That was the only thing that's ever happened to me. But that was a user error, not a company error. So make sure you do that. But from a safety aspect, this is a beast. It's parked in your garage. It ain't going anywhere. It's like a freaking truck parked here. It's safe. It's safe. So I personally think anyone who gets this alone at home, you're safe to train. You also have all these different, you know, ways to put these safety spotters here for the Smith machine, where these are well made, so you're going to be okay in that aspect. Now, let's talk about just customer service, reputation, and the warranty aspect. So free shipping too. So free shipping is, if you spend $500, you get free shipping in the continental US. And if also too, if you're a teacher, shout out teachers or educators. I think that he has also other discounts too for responders. You get a little bit of a kickback for being able to be in the, oh God. You get a kickback if you are in one of those professions, which I think is really cool. He offers a lifetime warranty on his products, so he stands by his products, which is huge, especially for smaller companies. You know, smaller companies who have a lifetime warranty, I'd say they are definitely proud of what they offer, which says a lot. And he's been around for a decent amount of time too, so he's not someone who came out of the woodworks. You know, he just hasn't had a lot of social media. That's why your boy's out here to talk about it. So free shipping over $500, lifetime warranty. In regards to Bob, person I've talked to, he's had pretty good communication with me. I noticed people were talking about in the comments of how he's been helping him. Hopefully things have gotten better. You know, he watches the videos. You know, he's been very communicative with me about his products. He seems very excited. He has a lot of good ideas. So it could also just be a kind of guy where, you know, at the end of the day, it's nice to, as a customer, to make sure you're inputting how it's been for you. But as a reviewer, as a person as well, he's been good to me. It's honestly at the end of the day, he didn't have to send this to me, but he trusted me. I think at the end of the day, that's pretty cool. Someone can trust someone like me. And I think that speaks volumes to be on this channel. So putting this all together in a multiple, so customization and attachments, you never have to worry about that. He has so many friggin' attachments. You got the attachments to hook up to the 5/8 holes here. You got the attachment to put on to the leg press. You have an attachment that can connect to both these. You've wanted to get that to do your chest press. There's just a lot of attachments with this rack. Customization. You always have a lot of exercises, hundreds of exercises, which is a win. Range of motion. The system is smooth. Smith machine is smooth. The cable system is smooth. Everything about this is smooth. 11 gauge steel. Now, build quality. This is 11 gauge. Like I said, people don't like 5/8 holes. Bob is offering 1-inch hole rack on his website, which again, even if I'm not reviewing that yet, I am soon. My link is in the description. All you gotta do is click it. It's free and helps your boy. It does. He will offer a rack with 1-inch holes as well that is coming out. And he also offers at a discounted rate, if you get a bundle of stuff, you get 20% off, which is nice. But build quality, just kind of going back to that, this thing is a freaking brick house. There's a ton of attachments like I mentioned too, so you're getting good value for this. Honestly, that's all I can think of to talk to you guys about in 3 months. We're gonna do this again in 6 months. We also are getting his X3 in the gym, which is gonna be massive, to have some comparison videos as well and just solo reviews of the racks. So let me know what you think in the comments of this rack. I think this is a rack that'll last me the rest of my life. This ain't going anywhere. Let me know in the comments what you think. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, and cannot wait to bring you guys more content soon. Luke's Garage Gym. It's Luke, Luke's Garage Gym. See you guys later.